Ben never wanted to watch the sea. His father kept the lighthouse, his grandfather before him. Every man in their family learned the same rule. When the fog comes in, keep the light burning and stay inside. But after the tragic, violent death of his wife and little daughter, Ben stopped believing he could save anyone. Months later, hollow with grief, he returned to the old tower, wearing his red beanie, his red plaid shirt, and the look of a man who had nowhere else to go. At first, the lighthouse felt familiar. Salt in the windows, chains knocking in the wind, the beam turning over black water. Then the voices began. A woman laughing from the stairwell, a voice whispering from the lantern room, and at midnight, a woman in white appeared on the rocks below, her hair whipping like sea foam, her faceless face turned up toward him as if she had been waiting for years. The spirits did not want comfort. They wanted vengeance. Every night, they showed Ben pieces of the past, a hidden room beneath the tower, names scratched into stone, and a curse born from a keeper who let a ship die in the dark. Journals of his forefathers showing descent into madness. Now Ben searches the lighthouse for the truth, before grief finishes changing into something worse. Because the light still turns, the dead still call, and the woman in white is climbing the stairs.
Ben had climbed every stair in the lighthouse before, but never like this. Tonight, in his red plaid shirt and red beanie, he carried a lantern up the spiral tower, hunting the thing his family refused to name, the curse. At the top, the attic door groaned open. Dust rolled out like breath. Inside waited antique chairs under torn cloth, cracked portraits, and steamer trunks stacked like coffins. His forefathers' belongings, their secrets, their guilt. Ben stepped inside, and his lantern flickered. In the far corner stood a long, oval, full-length mirror. Its frame was black with age. Its glass should have shown Ben, the attic, the lantern glow, but it showed nothing. Only a depthless, black abyss. Ben moved closer. The darkness seemed to lean toward him. The floor creaked, though he had stopped. Then, something inside the glass moved. A pale hand shot out. Ben screamed as a ghost lunged from the mirror. Blonde hair floating around a face webbed with black veins. Where her eyes should have been, there was only emptiness. Her fingers clawed his shirt, dragging him toward the glass. Ben threw himself backward, crashed into a trunk, grabbed a dusty sheet, and hurled it over the mirror. The pull stopped. For a moment, only his breathing filled the attic. Then Ben opened the trunks. Inside were sea logs and journals from his grandfather, great-grandfather, and generations before them. One entry told of a village girl who worked at the lighthouse, then vanished in the fog. Everyone said she fell from the cliff. The journals said otherwise. Each man had seen her. Each man had heard her whisper from the mirror, and each one had slowly gone mad. Ben looked back at the covered glass. The sheet began to breathe. Ben was up all night. He couldn't sleep. He was still. Wearing his red plaid shirt and red beanie, he walked the kitchen floor with the journals in his hand that he had found in the attic. After the ghost had attacked him, he was more determined now than ever to find the source. What caused the ghost to want to harm him? And his forefathers. The old rustic antique fireplace made of stone burned brightly. When dawn came, Ben went to cut wood and do his rounds. When he seen a woman laying on the barrens in a white, tattered dress, he rushed to her. She was unconscious, but alive. He scooped her up and brought her to the lighthouse and placed her on the couch in front of the fireplace. Later, she awoke with no memory of who she was or how she got there, not even her name. The fire had burned low by the time the girl opened her eyes. For a moment, she lay still beneath the heavy knitted blanket on Ben's couch, staring at the stone fireplace as if she had never seen fire before, or as if she had seen it somewhere she could not remember. Across the room, Ben stood near the kitchen doorway, exhausted, holding a lantern he had never put away. Rain tapped the windows. The old house creaked around them. He did not notice her wake. He did not notice her sit up. And he did not notice when she slipped silently from the couch and crossed to the mantel. The fire warmed her face. Its glow moved across the photographs above the hearth. Ben smiling beside his wife, his little daughter tucked between them, all three in matching plaid shirts on a bright day that now felt impossibly far away. The girl leaned closer. She did not know their names. Not really, Ben had told her, but the words had drifted past like smoke. Wife, daughter, gone, taken violently, not long ago. Still, something in the photograph made her chest ache. She touched the frame with 2 fingers, a flash of laughter, a child's hand, a woman's voice saying something she could not catch. The girl pulled back, breathing harder. Beside the family photo were maps, sea charts, coastline sketches, and old boat pictures, pinned and stacked as if Ben had been chasing answers through generations. Her eyes moved over them without understanding why they felt familiar. Then she saw the locket. It hung from the corner of the family portrait on a thin chain, a small cameo piece, pale against the dark wood frame. It should have looked like a keepsake. Instead, it seemed to be waiting for her. She reached for it. The moment her fingers closed around the metal, the room seemed to quiet. Even the rain felt farther away. She opened the locket. Inside were 2 tiny portraits, Ben's wife and Ben's daughter. The girl stared at them, confused by the pressure behind her eyes. It was grief, but not her grief. Love, but not her love. A memory trying to borrow her body. Her hand rose to her throat. Nothing was there. She rubbed the skin below her collarbone, searching for something that should have been hanging there. Then another photograph caught her eye. It sat behind the others, half hidden in shadow. An old black and white portrait of a stern man in a dark uniform, with a thick beard, polished buttons, and a cap that made him look like a ship's captain. The girl stepped toward it, as if pulled by a string. Ben had told her no stories about this man. She had no reason to know him, but she knew the shape of his eyes. She knew the weight of his stare. She touched the glass. A jolt shot through her. The room vanished. Wind screamed. Rope snapped. A woman gasped for air. A man in a dark uniform loomed close, one hand locked around her throat. Not a captain, not a sailor, a lighthouse keeper. Ben's great-great-great-great-grandfather. The girl cried out. The frame slipped from her hands and smashed against the hearth. Ben spun around and rushed to her side, dropping beside the broken glass. "It's okay," he said. "You're not hurt." The girl trembled, staring at the shattered portrait as if the man inside it might climb out. "I touched it," she whispered. "I saw him." Ben froze, then forced his voice gentle. "Come on, back to the couch." He reached for her arm. The instant his hand touched her, something tore through him. Not a memory, not a dream, a vision. He saw a young woman's face twisted in terror, dark hair, pale dress, a hand at her throat. The same choking gasp, the same uniform, the same violence. Then it was gone. Ben blinked, shaken so deeply he almost let go. But the girl was already frightened, so he buried the horror behind a calm expression. "You're safe," he said. "You just got dizzy. That's all." He helped her back to the couch and wrapped the blanket around her shoulders. But she was not comforted. She kept touching her neck again and again, searching the same empty place, as if a necklace had been torn away, as if her body remembered what her mind could not. Ben looked from her hand to the open locket on the mantel, his wife's face, his daughter's face. And now, somehow, this girl,